Yo people, so today I'm just going to do what I normally do in a day and cover a topic regarding whether you can gain strength or not in a deficit. I'm not going to make you wait till the end of the video to give you a conclusive answer, and I'll tell you right now that the vast majority of people can absolutely get stronger in a deficit. If you don't know what a deficit is, it basically means you're consuming fewer calories than your body needs to maintain its weight. So basically, people that are in a dieting phase trying to lose some body fat. So yeah, I'm just going to do what I do in a day and give you some tips throughout the video. But before I do, I'm just going to show you where I am right now. So I'm 4 weeks into a deficit. I'm 8 pounds down. So at the moment I'm 168.8 pounds, starting at around 177, so just over 8 pounds down. So obviously the clip I've just shown you right there, I'm definitely not lean. I probably think that I've got maybe 12 to 15 pounds, I'd imagine, before I'm where I want to be. If I wanted to, I could get shredded quicker, but for me, there's literally no point in doing that. And the reason being, at the minute, my training is going absolutely perfect. I'm getting stronger every session in my training, and I'm appearing leaner in the mirror every week. So there's literally no reason whatsoever to change that. Yeah, training's going really good. Hopefully in this video I'll be able to give you some tips of how to improve your training performance in the gym and help you stay on track with your cutting phase. Right, so yeah, I was going to train lower, so about to get my pre-workout meal in, which is going to consist of a banana, some bran flakes, got some skirt, and some sultanas. So 30 grams of that, 150 grams of that, 30 grams of that, and I don't weigh my bananas because I'm not a freak. So yeah, I'm going to put the macros on screen and then I'm going to eat it. Pre-workout meal's going in. While I'm eating that, I'm going to go over the most crucial tip I can give you when trying to build strength or at least maintain it during a cutting phase. And that is just purely your mindset, which sounds like so cliche and maybe an obvious one, but the problem that most people have when they go into a cut and they lose strength is literally because they expect to lose strength. Like say when you're in a gaining phase, bulking phase, whatever you want to call it, when you're trying to get stronger, you're trying your hardest to push numbers up. Like that should not be any different in a cutting phase. If anything, for me, when I'm in a cutting phase, I train even harder because I don't want to lose the muscle I've gained in my gaining phase. So when you go into your session, for every lift, you must be thinking, I must, like absolute must, at least match reps on every set. But for me, I go into the session thinking I must get +1 rep on every set. Obviously, you can't get +1 rep on every set, otherwise, you know, every session you'll just be lifting ridiculous weight and everyone will look like Ronnie Coleman. But it's just about having the right mentality to give yourself the best possible chance of getting stronger. So just go into the session with purpose, you know, do whatever you need to do to get pumped up for your session. Like for me, for example, I start making like weird noises and just slapping my head, slapping the muscle I'm about to train. So if I'm training chest, start slapping my chest, hit my legs if I'm training legs. I just do weird stuff, and probably people look at me like, what is this guy doing? But I know I've got to get myself in the right zone, and I'll just do whatever I need to do. And I don't really care what people think of me, because I'm like, I know I've got a job to do and I need to get myself in the right headspace to do it. So yeah, do whatever you need to do to get pumped up for a set. Don't care what people think of you. That is like the most crucial tip in this whole video, is your mindset. Right, focus man, for God's sake. We focused? Right, we're focused. Right people, just pulled up at the gym, about to train lower. So before I go in and train, I thought I'd give you 2 quick tips on, what's this video about again? Right, yeah, 2 quick tips to help you get stronger in a deficit, or at least maintain your strength. And that is, the first one is pretty obvious, and this applies to pretty much any phase you're in, whether it's a gaining phase, a deficit, whatever, is consuming enough protein. So I'm not going to go into that too much because I've spoke about this like hundreds of times already, so you probably know about consuming enough protein. Just get 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight and that'll be sufficient. And the other tip is quite essential, so consume carbohydrates around your workout. I think we should play a game, like every time I say workout, you've got to take a drink, and you'll all be quite drunk, I reckon. So make sure you're getting enough carbohydrates pre-workout and post-workout. So in my day of eating, the majority of my carbs are around my workout. So I'll have a mixture of complex carbs and simple carbohydrates for pre-workout usually, and I'll have some simple carbohydrates post-workout. So carbohydrates pre-workout is literally just to give me energy to fuel my workout, and the post-workout carbs is literally just to replenish glycogen stores. You don't need carbohydrates before you go to bed. You don't need energy, you know, to go sleep or, you know, do whatever you do in the evening. You need carbs for your training. So right, just got back from that lower session. and I feel absolutely done, mate. But I did back up my word about getting stronger in a deficit. So my main compound lift of that lower workout was the Romanian deadlift. And for my top set, I got +1 rep. So my last session, I got 160 kilos for 5 reps. And the 5th rep on that set was like an RPE 10, and it was a disgusting rep. Whereas today's session, I got 160 by 6, and the RPE was a lot less. So progression there. And then my back off set, I got 130 kilos for 10 reps. And the session prior, I got 125 kilos for 10 reps. So a 5 kg increase and match reps. So good progression. So yeah, really happy with how that lift went. And my isolations as well, like my leg extensions, my lying leg curls, I progressed on all of them as well. So yeah, a really good session. I thought I'd just give another tip as well to increase the likelihood of you gaining strength in a deficit, and that is by having a small calorie deficit. So the smaller the deficit, the more likely it is to increase strength. Now I get that people don't want to be cutting forever and having a really small deficit and taking forever to cut. You've got to kind of weigh up where you are in terms of your experience with lifting. I think people within the first 2 years, I'd go with a smaller deficit, no more than like say a 500 calorie deficit per week. But if you want to say lean down quicker and then get back into a surplus quicker, then if you want to do a mini cut quite quickly, then I understand why you do that. But for this video, what I'm talking about gaining muscle or gaining strength whilst being in a deficit, then the smaller the deficit, the better chance you have then of gaining strength and gaining muscle. Another thing I'm going to touch on is your training volume per week, so how many sets you do per muscle group. So when you're in a calorie deficit, your capability of being able to recover reduces, especially when you get like really lean. Now I'm not saying reduce volume as soon as you go into a cut. So when you go into a cut, just keep your training volume exactly the same. However, when you are further into your cut, say 4, 8, 10 weeks, however long it may be, when you start noticing that you're struggling to recover from your sessions, don't think about dropping the weight, because you want to come out of that cut as strong as you went into it. Just think about dropping a set, say on an exercise. So say before you was doing 3 sets on a flat dumbbell bench press. If you're struggling to maintain the numbers on 3 sets, drop it to 2 sets. Now I'm not saying just ignore total volume for your session, but I think it is way more detrimental to maintaining your muscle mass by reducing weight rather than reducing the amount of sets. So yeah, I think reducing total amount of sets is something I do towards the end of my cut. Like I say, at the start of your cut, just keep everything the same, but just be aware, I'd say, just be aware of how you are recovering from your sessions. Anyway, while I'm making this, I'm just gonna cover one last thing regarding like gaining strength in a deficit, and that is who is actually able to do it. And like I said earlier, I think the majority of people are able to do it. I think there's a very small percentage that can't. And the people that can't, for me, is someone that's very advanced and already very lean. So when you're really lean, it becomes harder for you to gain strength in a deficit. Obviously, when you've got less body weight, you've got less body weight then to help move more weight. Also, like when you're lighter, like your stability isn't as good. So yeah, stability often is something that suffers, say, on your pressing movements as you get really lean. So your dumbbell flat bench, your barbell bench, they're the lifts that often are the first ones to suffer in a deficit. When you're quite advanced, it's definitely harder, but I think when you're advanced, you still can make strength gains if you are quite strategic about your programming. So when your stability suffers on your free weight movements, a lot of people may, for example, go on to like some kind of machine press. So yeah, they're the people that I think will really struggle to try and gain strength in a deficit. Either people very lean, I'm talking like very lean, pretty shredded, or someone that is like very advanced, they will find it difficult. And so yeah, everyone else, beginner, intermediate, I think yeah, 99.9% of people is able to gain strength in a deficit, especially during the early stages of a deficit. I don't know what else to cover. Obviously, recovery is massive. Like I can talk about like getting enough sleep and all that kind of stuff, but that is fundamental whether you're in a gaining phase or in a deficit. I'm talking more points about what is more niche to this subject about yeah, gaining strength and deficit. So, but yeah, hopefully I've not forgot anything. I think I've covered it. Any questions, put it in the comments. If you enjoyed the video or learned something, whatever, just drop the video a like. Obviously, if you've not yet subscribed, I'd probably question your life, and hit the subscribe button now. And yeah, see you on the next video.